What's up, guys? Riley here from Hudson Motors. On today's episode of the vlog, we've got a ton of crap going on. Working on our 72 F100 for our next giveaway truck. Working on the previous giveaway before that, Jake's truck over there. We just got always a ton going on. Tune in, watch along. You'll get a lot of good behind the scenes on building these trucks and all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, so enjoy. Working on our blue 72. Sturg's having a grand old time taking this dash out. Are you having fun, Stur?
Yeah.
Yeah?
This is good.
We're taking this dash out because it's like a weird adobe brown. We've done nice, like a dark, rich brown. It's a stressed brown, so we're gonna actually paint this dash to match, so it'll look nice. But gotta get like everything out so we can pull the dash out and have a bunch of overspray all over the place. All right, to paint this bad boy today, we're using SEM Color Coat Bluebird Brown. SEM Color Coat is a flexible paint, good for interior plastics, so it comes out just magical. And SEM paint's phenomenal at self-level, so it looks freaking great. But yeah, it'll grab onto the plastic and seal up super well. Super light coats at first, and it'll level out nicely. So we have our AC condenser up front here, and the AC system in this truck blows ice freaking cold, and I don't want to have to redo it. So rather than replace this condenser, which kind of looks like garbage, but it's not leaking. It's just got some dented up fins and stuff. I bought myself a cheap little fin comb, and we're gonna fix it. We're just gonna run these fins through, and then we'll repaint it black, and it'll look good as new. So right here on these dashes goes an ashtray. OBSinteriors.com, they sell like a media panel that goes in right here. It's made of plastic, and it matches the color of your dash. However, they are out of stock, and so we're gonna make our own. So I've got some thin sheet metal that we have over here, and I'm just gonna cut up a nice little bracket. It's gonna work out great. Getting her all cleaned up. Just no more dust, no more crap. Looking so good. And then we've got our dash panel off. We're not gonna paint it because freaking Vegas is about to rain. But we've got just some couple little hairline cracks through this guy that we've got fixed in here. If you don't know, the best thing to do is make an ABS putty. ABS plastic, cut into little pieces, put it in a jar with some acetone, let it sit overnight. Okay, so a jar, some ABS plastic, freaking acetone, and it will make a putty. And that putty, get it good and runny, and you have to have it in a jar that'll seal because it'll evaporate if not. That putty will literally melt itself into other ABS plastic pieces and become very, very, very strong. It's way better than any two-part epoxy at like Home Depot or whatever. So that is a great way of fixing little stuff like this. And then you can use it kind of like as like a little body filler. This crack was all the way through and it's filled in. Now you can still kind of see it, but after we paint this, it's gonna look amazing. Let me show you something here with our bench seat. This is freaking money. So you gotta have cup holders, and we don't wanna bolt something down to the ground because that's cheesy. So we put some cup holders in the seat. Great, wonderful, wham. But what happens when you got more than 2 drinks? Well, bam, 4 cup holders. And it's freaking belted up in there. Just looking so good. Just making those gauges look pretty. So she'll look well brand spanking new. So 72 is officially in the shop. We got a lot of work to do, and we're just gonna start ripping on it every single day. Hopefully knock this thing out. Let me show you what we're doing today. I'm in the weather stripping department, ripping out all this nasty, crappy, crusty old junk. It's just trashed. And we'll put the headliner up in there today. Got our dome light in, and we'll do our sun visors as well today, so that this interior is almost finished. And then Sterling's working on color sanding this paint job. So you can see down here, still really no gloss, nothing, just all the way down to 2,000 grit sandpaper. You'll see his stages here that he's working through, all the way up to 3,000 grit sandpaper here. It's still dull, but you can just see there's just tons of clarity in the paint. You can see the reflection really well, even though it's just still dull, hasn't been polished yet. So it'll look really, really, really good when he's done doing all of our new taillights and all sorts of good stuff going on here. But truck's looking killer. We got a lot of work to do. It's gonna be a very, very busy month with this bad boy, but we're just gonna turn and burn. Got one side of weather stripping done. Nice brand new, good soft felt stuff. Kind of a bear to put in. If you've never done weather stripping like this, it sucks because you kind of have to fight down in here with the window in the way. Pay no mind, we're gonna fix this, don't worry. Needs a new cotter pin in here, a new roll pin. We're gonna fix this, but you gotta like fight this guy down in here. So let me show you on the other side. I'll go and do the other side now because it's time on that guy right there. I'll go over there and show you what I mean by how to fight it and how you're gonna use the regulator to kind of help the help it shove down in there, using the regulator kind of like a third hand to pull it down. Here's what I mean. You're gonna take this guy and we're gonna start him, okay, in the channel a little bit, and pushing as vertically as you could push, you can get him started. But eventually, oh, I'm getting far this time. Let's go. A little WD-40 might help, but I hate having, like, I want it to stick in there well, and if you spray too much WD-40, it might not stick in well, it might not hold in there good and easy, or your window going up and down might move it. So if you can get away with not using it, don't use it. So I got in there as far as I can get to where now the friction against the channel is too much for me to push down anymore, and run it down again. Grab onto the bottom, inside the track, and roll back down. Again, same thing, roll them up. I got a good grip now. I've got almost a whole handful on this guy. And now you see, as I'm pulling down, the window is helping me. Aha, see that? Took all of 2 minutes of your time to get this one side in. If you try and feed it, or you try and hook it down, or you try and use a tool, just, I found it doesn't work. So let the window help you. There you go. Get it down deep enough in there. They always give you a little extra, so cut the slack. Sure, get up inside of it. Pull the window up one more time. Shove it into the track from the inside. Make sure she's nice in there. Okay, down one more time. I'm gonna grab a trim removal tool, flattish like this, just to push the rest of the way in the channel. And there you have it, pretty quick, 2 to 1. The other one is kind of the same thing, just on the other side. You're just gonna have a little more of a fight on this truck, but every truck's a little different. But pretty much you could do this on any truck, ever. Looking good. You should have a sanding block on a big pad.
Yep. Then if I want to get real close, I can do this.
Nice.
But for this soft pad, it doesn't matter that much.
Nice. Okay, we're doing new door lock knobs, and we're gonna do nice new billet ones with some nice new little grommets here. These always come not tapped, and then some painter always is painting over these, so you need to run your die down it and then tap your new lock knob. So these are almost always, these are a 1024 tap. We're gonna tap this, we're gonna run our die down this. What's it even called, sir, when you're, I don't know if this is called tapping like it is when you're putting the tap into it. I don't know, we're gonna clean these threads out though. That's all I know. Run this guy down it. Oh man, this is tedious. There goes my die, whatever. But all clean threads. Let's go tap our new little knobs. Got some nice black billet knobs. Got these from LMC. These knobs never come tapped. I don't know why they don't tap them, because literally every truck I've ever done has been a 1024. So I don't know why they don't just come tapped, but they're not. So I'm just gonna put this guy in my vise here and tap it. Got these nice little vise protectors so I can grab stuff and not mar everything up. It's really handy. And then your best friend when you're doing this kind of crap, some cutting oil. A couple little dabs in there. Oops. Will go a long way. Alrighty. And there we go. Looks killer. Easy peasy. In the car, cruising around town, going over to man, I gotta go all over town. This is just, you know, this is my little excerpt for our this week's vlog episode. This is kind of some days my whole entire life. Some days I'm a tow truck driver. Some days I'm just the part runner and I let the guys stay at the shop and keep working. Some days this is just my life and I just run all over town. So today what we're doing is I'm running over to the upholstery shop, pick up our steering wheel for the 72 and the dash pad for the 72. That's all done. And then I gotta go over to my 3D printer. Steve is his name, and Steve has the media hub for me for the 72. And then we're going over to Zach Airth the Fine and picking up some paint from him for some touch-up paint, and looking at one of my dad's trucks that he's working on. And yeah, just some days this is just what I do, is I just have to run around town all day long. And that's why I got my Colorado, my old trusty ship box, my 2012 Colorado. But it's a badass truck because it's got a 5.3 in it, and so it's kind of fast and it's fun, and I love it. So whatever. So yeah, we're just cruising around town. Back at the shop, and look at what the guys did while I was gone. She's a floater. She's a freaking hovercraft now. Twin traction beam is all but out. All that's left is just the drop brackets. We'll get those guys unbolted. And yeah, we've got all of that junk out of there. So ready to do a freaking solid axle swap now, which is exciting. So once we get that axle rebuilt, but we can get the shock reversal in tomorrow. Yeah, we're churning and burning. I'm excited. And then check this out down here. This is incredible. This is what the rest of the truck looks. So it's all dull, and then boom, it's so shiny, so crystal clear. Yeesh. So she looks just amazing. Love it. Paint's gonna look so killer when it's done. A few more goodies here. Got our steering wheel rewrapped, fresh leather, really nice. So that'll look sweet back inside the truck. No more nastiness. We've got our dash pads. It's just sitting on there so you can see. I think the colors, I know in my camera it looks a little off, but I think the colors look pretty freaking good, pretty close. And in person, it's pretty great. So the match isn't perfect, but they don't clash. They're two nice browns that go together nicely. So that is the nice thing about this dash, and I kind of feel bad. This dash had no crack. Normally these OBS dashes crack right here in the sun. This was a non-crack dash, and now it's wrapped, so it'll never crack. But again, if you peeled off that leather wrap there, you would get a nice, beautiful dash underneath. So again, looking good. And she'll go back in the hovercraft here this week. All right, so the blue has been, what, just compound? Yeah, just compound. And you guys, look at this. It's so shiny. It's insane, but look at this. You can't hear, listen. You hear that? You don't, you hear nothing because it's so smooth. It's insane. But look, like over here where it hasn't been polished yet, listen. Hear that? Hear my finger? You hear this? Nothing. Oh, it's so good. It's going down. Turns out this dash was a lot more work than we anticipated. We had a fun day, Huster. But the brown looks killer, okay? Looks absolutely killer, so whatever. Doesn't even matter. Worth it. Totally worth it. But way more work to pull these dashes out than anyone online would ever tell you. Unless you absolutely have to do this, don't do it.
Freaking liars.
That's a damn shame.
All right, it is seatbelt time. So these belts are from Retro Belt, same manufacturer as the Retro Radios. They are great. Great little retractors. They're not crazy sensitive. I bought other seatbelts online, and if you pull a little too hard, they'll go right into lock mode. But like these ones, you can pull pretty decently, and they're not gonna lock up on you. I love putting new seatbelts in trucks because like there's nothing worse than getting into an old truck and then putting the seatbelt on, it's all crusty and crunchy and makes your shirt all dirty. So with our new seatbelts, and then we put our bench seat in, and then we're just one step closer to being done. Because we have our new gauge bezel. It looks killer. However, we need to put in our fuel tank selector switch, but this truck only has one fuel tank, so I think it's dumb to have a switch there and not exactly not be a functioning switch. So what we're doing, we're going to replicate this with two different thickness ABS plastics and plastic welded into this, and then it will be blocked off and look killer. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. I already chopped that, like I said, and then I've got one small piece that serves as like the backing plate that would go kind of like there, and then this guy, which will serve as the more aesthetic piece, it'll go kind of like that. And what we're gonna use here is a little jar of ABS plastic slurry. I suggest everyone have some of this on hand at all times if you're working on cars, especially if you have plastics in your truck. So headliner is in and it looks freaking sweet, but oh my gosh, guys, headliners suck. Okay, putting these up, even a simple one like that, they're just garbage. I hate this crap. So I'm never taking this headliner down. Whoever wins better not ever drop this headliner. Never, ever, ever, because these are miserable to get down. But it looks really good. Visors look good. Interior is almost all come together. Seatbelts are in. They look freaking amazing. So just everything's winning right now. So seatbelts were quite a job. I did those yesterday and forgot to say anything else about it. But they required some finagling. The insert on the cab wasn't tapped, so I had to tap that. And then had to get a little custom down here, a little L bracket. So yeah, these were a bit of a bear. Way more trouble than seatbelts should be, but they're in as well. So we are almost done. I'm gonna do radio on Monday, and then I will put the gauge bezel back in, seatbelt, steering wheel on, and I think this interior is gonna be like 99% done come Monday. And in the front end department, leaf springs are in. Check this out. This is gonna be perfectly centered. So if you can see in the video here, that leaf spring, this axle is gonna sit just kind of right there smack in the middle. As it sets down, that will rotate back up and it's gonna look pretty freaking sweet. So, brand new leaf springs, new bushings, and everything else under there. And she just looks great. She looks killer. So, great job, Disguise. Great product, man. Here's our wheel choice today for the 72. Now, you may be looking at this and saying, a little too modern for my taste. Now, but just gonna have to trust me on this one. A little halfway. It's got some classic, let me show you. It's got some classic design cues, like these oval shaped, these bean shaped holes. And it's got that military look with the little fake bead lock, nut, bolt, whatever they call it. However, we're gonna powder coat these wheels white and they're gonna look very, very, very nice. We did it for my dad's Wagoneer and they look killer on his truck. So we're gonna do it for here. But in order to powder coat them, we're gonna pull out these little plastic fake nuts and they're an absolute bear because here's what they look like when they're out and they're like a little Christmas tree and they push into here and they're very freaking tight, impossible to get out. So what we're doing is we've got a Allen socket that will fit in there. That gets us a little bit of wiggling. And then we're taking our trim removal pliers and shoving it underneath, just wiggling in there, and then boom, it'll pop out. And it's a bear because there's 20 of them on each wheel. But this way we can pop them off, take these on a powder coat, make them white, and it will be very nice. Here's my dad's Wagoneer I was telling you guys about. Front fender just got repainted, so that's why it's missing the vinyl. But here's these wheels. Now these are 20, so this is bigger than what we're gonna be working with. But you can see that bean-shaped hole is a very classic design, and then you get that little military look with the faux nuts around the border there. So they're a cool wheel. They look good on classics because they just old school enough looking, but still having a modern wheel. So I like them. I dig them. But ours will be 17s and not 20s because more tire the better, baby. Okay, so we're in mock-up mode. Still gotta tear this axle apart. However, it is sitting down on the leaf springs, shock reversal, and everything's in. So these are factory F350 leafs with a 2-inch shock reversal, and we took out our 4-inch leaf spring. So it's looking like we gained like 5 inches of lift, 5 to maybe even 5.5 inches of lift by doing this over over factory spec, if that makes sense. So this does give you quite a bit of lift, which means we're gonna go 37s. But as you look down the side, we got a little bit of Carolina squat going on coming down here. So we'll put a little add leaf or something in the rear or a bigger block and we'll make up the difference. But you know what? It's great. It's killer. Looks killer. I'm excited. So whatever. All right, let me show you what we're working on now. So we're doing speaker pods down in the kick panels. That speaker pod over there, let me zoom in. That one's nice and flat, the panel over there. Nice and flat, no big deal. We'll put the speaker pod right there. But on this side, it is not nice and flat. We have this brace here for the dash that's kicking out and we can't get a 6.5 like down here. It needs to kind of come up into this area. So we need to fill that and make this work. So what I did was made myself a little panel. This was pretty freaking easy, not a big deal. Just made a panel, just traced kind of the shape down there, cut it slowly but surely out of some ABS plastic. Made the front piece here that goes there, and then took my plastic welder, my plastic stapler, and bent the staples to 65 degrees, because that's what this angle is. This is 65 degrees. Bend those staples up to 65 to get a 65-degree angle there. And then now, I'm using my favorite stuff ever. This is ABS plastic putty. I've talked about this in the past. ABS slurry is what we should call it. After I've all said and done doing this, I realized, why didn't I just cut this whole thing out of one piece and then mar it down that line and just bend it? But I'm not that smart, guys, so this is gonna just work out just great, though.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Let me show you the difference now of why we're spending so much freaking time sanding this thing, why our garage floor looks like garbage. Because look, okay, so normally, take your truck to a body shop, they paint it, and then they sand it down with 1500 grit, 2000 grit sandpaper, whatever, and then they'll do a polish job, and this is kind of what you get left with. It's bright, it's shiny, but you get orange peeled. So you can see like the reflection of those trucks is peely, you know, it's not super clear. But when you go crazy, like Sterling's going, and you sand it like 5,000 times, this is what you get. So shiny. But then you get little tiny low spots like that thing, and it drives you up the wall, but whatever. Still, looks so good, so reflective. Just like that, we got ourselves a little panel, put the carpet back over the top, and it's gonna look nice. All right, it is speaker wiring time. So this is a lot of old harness crap. We're gonna ditch from this plug down, I believe, something like that. And then these are our two 6.5 speakers, and then we're gonna run our tweeters. So we've got one tweeter ran so far. Haven't taped it down or anything, but these are nice JL audio tweeters. So we're gonna hide these up here somewhere, and then we'll have our two kickers, our two 6.5 kick panel speakers as well. And then we'll wire in this retro sound radio harness and then put in our amplifier, and this thing's gonna be kicking. All right, so we're down here under the truck. We need to do a little painting down here, but it's not rusty, it's just some of the paint's come off. We'll do some painting. But it's time to put our track bar mount in. And Ford, this is great to know. If you guys are doing this, don't get nervous. You just get a Ford factory track bar mount, and as long as your vehicle isn't lifted, this will work just fine. Lifted too high, this will work just fine. If you're gonna go super tall, some other companies like Skies Off-Road sell a drop bracket, but we don't need that, we're okay. This is gonna go into these factory holes that come from the factory. It will line up with these factory holes. You won't have to do a single thing. So you put this baby up there, and it lines up with this left hole, this bottom hole, and that top right hole. And just bolts right into place, fits perfectly. Almost like Ford knew, some jack holes in the future are gonna wanna get rid of our traction beam setup and go to a solid axle. So let's just provide the holes for them already. It's pretty great. All right, front axle's all painted up, looking good. All nice and fresh, ready to get going on the rebuild. We had an oil spill, so the kitty litter came out.
It was an accident, okay?
But still stoked to get that under the truck. And we got the meats, big old 37-inch boys. Nice and glossy white, yeesh. So those are gonna look so good. All right, the Kingpin Day 60 is all done, rebuilt, all freshened up. So it's killer. It's an expensive freaking chunk of metal is what this is. But so it's all done, ready to stab underneath this truck. We're gonna do that today. And I'm excited to get this truck down on all fours. This would be freaking cool. We got the wheels back from powder coating too. Check this out. I haven't put the black nuts back in, but they look freaking so cool. And the 37s look great. Looking rad. Then, I want you guys to say hi to Sean. Sean is our newest member over here. Say hi, Sean.
Hi.
So Sean is a welder, fabricator, mechanic, great guy. And is just coming on board, and freaking Sean's working on getting this condenser and radiator and transmission cooler mounted up properly, because they were pretty Mickey Moused in here before. But it's all good. And then we did some little touching up under the hood, made it look a little bit better, but we still got a little bit of work to do under here. Yeah, so this was funny. This condenser was mounted using that pool noodle right there to just hold it in place. It was really bad. So that was like one of the only things on the truck where it was like really Mickey Moused. Everything else is pretty freaking nice. It's been great. So we're having fun. Sterling's working on trim. We're gonna get all of our chrome trim put on today and tomorrow and whatever, and it's gonna be great. So we'll get our taillights in, everything looking nice, and it's gonna be freaking sweet. This truck being within a week of being done, we're gonna close this vlog. Thank you guys for watching. The next time you see this truck will be, then the next YouTube video we post after this will be the walk around for this truck, where you see it all finished, wheels and tires underneath it, everything said and done. It'll be very exciting. It's just a good place to finish off and show you the ending of this truck. But again, thanks for watching this one, and stick around and wait for the launch of this giveaway. We're hoping to launch this one by May 1st and run it for the whole month of May, where you'll be able to get in and get entered into this bad boy right here. So again, thanks for watching. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. We post all the time, almost every day, and get more behind the scenes stuff there as well. And I appreciate it, guys. Catch you on the next one.